Dr. Freud. Right? Hey, kid, you know, man. Oh, God. You ain't been together for about 3 years, ain't it? Yeah. 2 years.
What up, my fellow N-words? I am eating chicken wings and drinking Hennessy.
Hey, my nigga G invited to the motherfucker. You gonna stop at the Lucky Smoke again? That's what I'm saying. We better get a wedding invite, homie. For real. I'm talking about my hand guy. Oh, we know. So we still be children.
Do you like Hennessy and chicken wings, or do you like tequila and chicken wings? Personally, I like Hennessy on the rocks with chicken wings, but that's just me.
We in a room, nigga. We in a room. I'm fucking with that. I'm fucking with the room. They do it. Make sure I'm not lagging that way, dog. You know that right now. Yeah. Alright, thanks. We're gonna go this out. All different topic. And I've never ever heard a Jewish person say, kill the Palestinians, fuck the Palestinians, fuck your mother, fuck your father. I never heard this from a Jewish community. But when you go to the other side, like this moron, who told me to go fuck myself, it always comes from the other side. Why is there such hostility in these people? And then that's why we can't have peace. Because they can't even have a civil conversation about what's really going on. So let me welcome Omar to the stage. Omar, what's up?
What's up, Jay? Yeah, I would like to ask about regarding the current topic. Why do the Chinese support the Palestinians? Is there a reason why do they have economic goals maybe, or is it just pure maybe a political thing?
Or like the Cold War, since the U.S. supports one side, they want to support the other side, or maybe they want access to the Mediterranean. I mean, when you have cash, and China has a lot of cash, you see how you can use this money to further your interests. This is what the United States does. So I would be surprised if China didn't do this.
Anything that's anti-American, the Chinese are grabbing onto. Let me start with Russia and then Ali. Russia, what's up? Russia, are you there? Okay. Ali Dolly, what's up?
Hey Jay, listen, I just want to say fuck you, Jay. I am complete. I'm just.
Good one.
The way he said it too.
Good one. He ain't laughing.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to trolls like him. We try to have an intellectual conversation. But you know what blinds them? The anti-Semitism. That blinds them. They can't have a conversation.
Yeah, they're creepy. They creep me out, actually. I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone else thought that was funny. He was so calm about it, but that's all I wanted to say. Really, is fuck you, Jay. Fuck you, too.
Well, when you get insulted by somebody that lives in a cave, I mean, you really take it seriously. So is anybody going to give me an answer on what a Palestinian is? Somebody? Anybody?
Well, I'll say a couple things. I'm going back and forth in the chat with somebody who's, I think, is pro-Persian. And I want to know a lot more about Persians. I think we know very little about it. I'm professing my ignorance. But this is this culture that I know from some of my friends and from some scholars is incredibly rich. And because of this Iranian revolution of 1979, so-called revolution. I think it was really almost a coup. Um, you know, the land is mysterious to us. There are a few, I think, filmmakers whose work has come out. I haven't seen any Iranian films, and I should. It's a sophisticated aesthetic culture, and it's got a great cuisine, and we know nothing about it. All we know is it's really tragic. So I'm hoping they can be liberated from this oppression of these crazy mullahs who take the food out of their own people's mouths and use it to create havoc around the world with the Houthis in Yemen, with Hezbollah in Lebanon, with Hamas. All they do is finance destruction. It's insane. I hope we get to know these people and forge our friendship again. And frankly, I was also defending the Arabs. I think the Arabs are interesting and cool, and I want to get to know them better too. I want to forge a peace with them. And I think we're going to have peace with the Arabs through toughness. We're going to be relentless in our defense of ourselves. I think they respect strength, and we're going to show them a kind of a strength that they never dreamed existed. I never saw Israel hit as hard as it's hitting now in Gaza, and I'm 100% behind it. I think it's what we need to do. And I think, it's too bad that this has to cause human suffering. I feel that that's a tragedy. And Bibi is a very polarizing, sort of Trumpian, self-interested figure, but he has the stones to slam his fist down on terror in our neighbors, and I support him for what he's doing. And if these really people change their mind and vote in somebody else, they're the ones who are spilling their blood to defend the homeland for all the rest of us Jews, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart, nonstop. And all I want to know is how I can help and make this situation better. And I thank the Jews of Israel and the Arabs. We freed an Arab the other day. We freed a Bedouin. He was being held hostage. And so I thank all of the people who are putting themselves on the line so that we can have a Jewish homeland.
Oh, Normie, we got one of the biggest anti-Semites on Clubhouse in the room right now. We got Soren here. But hey, let me just say this real quick, guys, 2 seconds. And I know it's a polarizing statement, and I don't really care. Because I live in reality. I know what happened on October 7th, right? So, Gaza City on October 7th, there were tens of thousands of people in that street celebrating the death and the atrocities are going on in Israel. Matter of fact, some of those hostages were brought back to Gaza City and were beaten with sticks, including dead hostages. So now people want to come around and say, what about the Palestinians? What about when they were celebrating the death of the Israelis?
Well, what I would say is that, just to follow up something Norm said, I'm not directly answering the question, but, I almost think, and Norm probably disagrees, but I think it's an insult to Bibi to be compared to Trump. I mean, I think Bibi, whether people like him or not, has convictions, he has scholarship, he has a military career behind him. He's a leader, whereas Trump is just an asshole. And by the luck of the draw, he makes some good decisions that help people that he's wholly unaware of. And maybe that's a little bit of an extreme, but I think that comparing Bibi to Trump is,
I think you're right. Bibi has earned his position. I think Trump actually learned from Bibi. And for the leader of a small country, Bibi's accomplished a tremendous amount, including the most remarkable economic growth in Israel and the emergence of this idea of the startup nation. Boy, do we run with it. So I actually do agree with what you're saying, Dr. Jordan.
Let me say hello to Patriot. What's up, Patriot?
Hello, brother. I just wanted to tell something to my Israeli brothers, Jew brothers, that first of all, Iran is not an Arabic country. It's majority Persian, so it has its own identity. 50 years ago, we did a mistake. I mean, we didn't do that. Our forefathers, I don't know, maybe my grandparents, our grandparents, did a revolution. Though at that time, the things were different. People were still Islamic. We had a great Islamic thing, Safavi. Well, that was not Islamic against their rule because we are Shiites and they are Sunnis. We are not like friends. Even in Islamic world, we're not friends. We have our own sect that's totally different with all the Muslims. All 90%, 99% of the Arabs are Sunnis. We have made another sect, Shiites, that's insulting the Arabs, insulting their caliphates, insulting all they had. So we were never a good Muslim either. That's it. But we did the Islamic Revolution 50 years ago, and now everything has changed. Now people know that Islam is Arabic nationalism, and we don't want it. Islamic Republic only has destroyed our culture, our language, our nationality, our friends. Because before the Islamic Revolution, we were good friends with Israel. We had the same enemy, Pan-Arabism in the region. But now, what has remained? People think we are Arab. People think we are radical Muslims. We are not even Muslims. I'm telling you, 90% of the people now are not Muslim. If they are atheist, if they are, I don't know, they love Zoroastrianism, our old religion. If they like maybe Christianity, we are not Muslims. It should be noted. People should know that Iran is not a Muslim country. It's not an Islamic country. We are not Muslim. Arabs should accept it. And if they do not accept it, we don't care. Because we are ruling our Arab countries. Iran, all of these countries are under our rule. And I'm assuring you, I'm telling you, one day this Islamic Republic will go and Iran, as its Persian and real identity, will be the biggest ally of Israel. And we'll never back up its identity. We are not Arab, we are Persian, and we will stand with Israel till our last minute.
Well, we appreciate that, Patriot. Are you in Iran right now?
No, I'm a student in foreign country, but I was in Iran like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, yeah. I will return in 1 year. So, yeah, I can leave and, yeah, get back. I'm a student now. I'm a student.
Thank you, Patriot. Good luck with your studies. Let me welcome Soren to the stage. Soren,
Thank you.
You're welcome, Patriot. Soren?
Hi, Jay. Hey.
Fantastic. You want to chime in on this conversation?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just very curious. Elnor was saying he read a book about Iraq. I'm curious to know what he actually learned about that book that he didn't know before. The fact that many Iraqis dissidents led us to get into the Iraq war, like Mr. Halabji, I think, is one of these Kurdish Iraqi dissidents, which he managed to manipulate the American intelligence services as a weapon of mass destruction in Iraq. Given on that, how much we can actually rely on Iranian citizens, given they have the Iraq dissidents experience in the past?
Well, as I mentioned, the book is written by Steve Cole, who was a great Washington Post reporter and the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, and former dean of the school I went to, Columbia Graduate School of Journalism. And so far what I'm seeing is the development of the relationship between the United States and Saddam. We wanted to have a relationship. Reagan sent Rumsfeld over there to create a kind of an allied relationship. I mean, Saddam was a maniac. Saddam was a complete maniac. And he ruled with murder, torture, terror, stealing. I mean, it's an oil-rich country, and he took most of the riches for himself, and he put members of his family in charge. But we wanted to have some kind of a relationship. Unfortunately, I think perhaps at the same time, we were cultivating a relationship with Iran. And when the two of them began fighting, we were really helping both sides. So that kind of created a breach in trust with Saddam, and that's what I'm up to with the book. I think I'm on chapter 13 or something. So there's a lot more good stuff to come, including the end of Saddam. I'm familiar with the person who informed us of these weapons of mass destruction. Right now, where I am in the story is Iraq using poison gas against Iran, which is obviously a war crime. And it does count as a weapon of mass destruction, I believe, poison gas. And Saddam keeps trying to compete in the nuclear race to get atomic weapons. And Israel keeps taking them out because it's considered intolerable, I think rightfully so. Irresponsible nations like Iraq and Iran have nuclear weapons. We don't need them in that region.
Let me jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to welcome Alyssa Denny to the stage. How you doing, Alyssa?
Sorry, so I can't.
Sorry.
Thank you, Jay. I got a bar. I wanted to ask two questions. Patriot, on the bottom of your profile, are those schools that are a part of this nonprofit organization? By chance? You said you weren't. There you go. How'd your answer, folks? And then Jay asked a question that why the hate, and I don't want to say it myself. I'd like to hear it from one of the people, like saying it in the thing in the chat, why they really hate Americans so much, and what the original religion of the America was,
Communists and like, would it be great if we just brought everyone in here right now?
Oh, Adrian is here.
Yeah.
Hi, Adrian.
I was going to love
Welcome to the conservative club. Oh my gosh.
Good evening. Look at my new Trump hat I got in the mail. I'm so happy with it.
You guys are all beautiful people, though. We need to start
That's actually
meeting
really-
people like.
That's actually really nice.
I gotta go change my underwear. If you guys can find Trump underwear, that would be really funny.
Yeah, Trump underwear would be really cool.
Finding though?
I have Superman underpants.
Shut up.
I'm running to the bathroom right now. Who is Adrian?
This is the 45th Ward Republican Committeeman of the Chicagoland area.
That's true. Well,
I get it.
No, Tyler, did you see George Clooney?
No, I didn't. George Clooney, that's true.
Hi, I'm just wondering if your title is anti-Semitic.
Like I hate Jews or something? Like what? It's a weird
Yeah, because I mean, it seems to me like if you're gonna make a Jewish zombie guy cast 10 devils into demons or something with the pigs, like maybe this is Jew hate.
Yeah, I would say it is. Definitely. I would put that in hold on, let me see how you can categorize that.
Barthology, did you see any din or demons when you were in solitary confinement?
When I was in solitary confinement, I literally saw nothing but these little tiny ants that would come through the cracks in the corner.
Did you see the Blessed Mary? Did you see the white woman?
I never had a supernatural experience in my entire life. No, I can't say I have.
Well, what do you think about Christians that do have intense experiences? Are they hallucinating?
I took a bunch of ecstasy one night, and it didn't make me gay. So I'm not gay.
So you're voting for Kamala and Waltz. You are a
I'm
communist.
voting for Kamala on it's an emotional, basically vote. It's an emotional vote. I don't care what.
She's not a whore or a prostitute. She's not the Lady of Babylon in the purple dress
I'm
with
telling
the.
you right now, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because Fulton Sheen, if you know who Fulton Sheen is, he's televangelist.
Do you know the Talmud Chacham Megzed? This guy knows more about Torah than anybody I've ever met.
He literally prophesied in 19.
This already sounds stupid. Can we just move on to the next speaker, please?
Yeah, 2024, Fulton Sheen. He predicted this in 1950. So I think that.
Well, what year is it right now?
2024, that's what he said.
What day is it right now?
I don't know. It's not the first.
Well, Megzed is here, thank God. Hashem sent us a Talmud Chacham to help all you stupid goys. Go get him, Megzed.
What was gonna happen?
Yeah. The peanut gallery usually follows me around. It's fun.
You're so self-centered, Barthology. You're a narcissist.
I am. It's all about me.
Megzed, can you lay a Torah truth bomb on these goys and enlighten them with Hashem's divine light?
Why are you calling us slaves? What in the world? We didn't make this. This was I think this was at first.
It's got nothing to do with us. We're never moderators anyway.
Yeah, we didn't
These guys at the top.
Yeah, I'm not a mod. I would have kicked this guy in like 2 seconds. But...
Well, that's because you're a fascist. You kick people. Fascist!
Oh yeah, I'm totally a
Yo,
fascist.
it's so funny. This app is literally dying, and you guys like want to eliminate people one by one every single day.
Yeah, it's an app in stereo.
Thing, bro. It's
Wow,
such
that's
a
an
fun
app in stereo.
thing, bro.
Nobody.
No,
Because of that.
yeah, it's like barely anybody comes on this app, and whoever comes on the app, you make sure to kick them out of every fucking room. Like you guys that's just the worst.
That's why they're voting for Kamala. They're communist fascists.
One of the things that kills me is that if Clubhouse would just go ahead and monetize, like if they just put a mandatory 30-second ad that you had to listen to before you got into a room, and they could use that revenue, like from an ad, like from a company that wants to advertise. If I could go and pick,
Just get kicked out of the room. What's the point?
no, because like all the people on Clubhouse love coming in this room.
Jeremy, are you always the mod? Are you always the mod, Jeremy? Most of the time. You know why you're always the mod? Because you don't want to get kicked. You want to kick people. So there's not that many mods. There's usually like, but so many mods. There's more people that are not mods than there is people that are mods. So,
Of course.
because you feel like you need this edge, right? But
No, sorry.
ultimately, you just want to have the last word because you're ready to lose. So I get it.
What he's trying to say is that you pussy green beaners are too pussy to mod people because you're pussies. That means you're fascist pussies. Good job, Barthology. Thanks for calling out these faggot pussies. Great job. You pussies wouldn't make it in jail with Barthology in 5 minutes. He'd have you in his prison cell and he'd be taxing that ass.
Well, yeah, that bossy.
No, Bartholomew is more submissive, so he wouldn't do that.
Oh, big surprise. The CEO of the room is an Indian. I just saw that the 10 major corporations of the Fortune 500 are led by Indians. Why is that? I don't understand it.
This is why Kamala's gonna bring in the Indian, bring it all in, red dots and all.
It's pretty easy to understand it because of the education system. It's because of how bad things have gotten. that the best of the best of the best are in many cases no longer folks from the West.
I mean, I would have voted. I'm voting for Kamala just because she's black. Whether she's even half black, she could have been a quarter black. I would have still voted for her.
But don't you know that she's a neocon? She is Barack Hussein Obama and George Bush's Trojan horse.
These motherfuckers have been voting for white people
White people.
What? Logic, you're ridiculous, bro. I was agreeing with you for everything until you started.
Oh, thank God Caleb is here. Ugh, we got another Talmud Chacham.
We're going to war. You better save your pennies. You better hide your kids.
Hey, can you go back to taking care of your family, Barthology? Caleb is here. We have another Talmud Chacham who can help enlighten us to the divine wisdom of the Torah.
No, he'll just take the monthly payment and stay home more.
He's voting Kamala too. He's with you.
Yeah, of course.
Who, do we have any Trump supporters in the room?
They're probably scared to admit the fact that they're Trump supporters.
No, they're not. Oh, there we go.
I'm a Trump supporter.
There we go. We got a white guy with a black face. He's a Trump supporter.
I'm actually just white, but they're so racist on this app that I have to act black so I could even get on fucking.
Oh my God, that's so racist. You sound like my friend Ishmael, the gorilla.
You know what's racist? You're trying to say that you're white. That's the most stupidest racist thing you could have ever done in your life. I am white, dude. I'm in Montana, dude.
Barthology, what kind of alcohol are you drinking tonight?
I'm in Montana, Logic. Oh, you saying there's white people in Montana?
Barthology, are you drinking Hennessy or tequila?
What kind of white people? Because I'll tell you right now, if I did the census, if we go to the census, it'll show that they all stem from Germany. All the people in.
Yeah, there were a lot of Germans in America.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of British, a lot of Germanic, a lot of Russian, a lot of Italians. There's a lot of
They used to have German American newspapers.
Mostly German. Well, not all Germans. So what's your point? You want me to say the census from Montana as all what you think are white? They're all German.
Barthology, you must have a brain that is very similar to that of an ant.
Germans are white. When did they start calling themselves white? Was it the 1700s?
You know, does anyone know anything about the spectrum, the hue, and the science and the physics behind what is white and what is black? There's no pure white. There is no pure black.
Listen, I don't care. I just don't know what's the point.
Barthology never has a point. He has brain damage from being in the hole for too long, like Andrew, who got punched out at a party for trying to suck a guy's dick.
Yeah, that's funny. That's no surprise either, dude. You know, I can just tell by Andrew's picture, dude, that he is that type of person.
Yeah, just ask him. He got beat up at a party for trying to suck a guy's dick.
Well, he has such a punchable face. I mean, just look at him. God.
He's got traumatic brain injury, and our friend Barthology here, God bless his soul and God bless his family, has an emotional disorder.
Oh. Well, that's a shame.
He has Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a problem. They can't think logical at that point, so.
And isn't it funny that he names himself logical, yet he's the most illogical person on the whole app?
Well, honestly, at first I was kind of enjoying, because he was holding off these atheists, but then he started talking political and stuff, and then he exposed himself.
Oh, assalamu alaikum, Alison. Did you throw the Jew down the well yet? Yes, I am a Talmud Chacham sent from Hashem to infect Uranus with the Torah. Free Palestine and stop the genocides.
Yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, okay.
All right, everyone, my troll is complete, and I leave you where I found you, in utter decay and disgrace. Farewell, everyone. God bless you all. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties. Make sure you vote Trump, Arthology, and go to the gym, fatty. Stop sitting in your Grand Jeep Cherokee talking on Clown House all day watching the kids play at the park. Go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty. I'm out of here. And John, what's his face? The super Christian John Lee. Great to see you, John Lee. I wish you would have come up and say something to these losers and tell them a little gospel. God bless and goodbye, everybody. Read your gospel now.
Are you gay?
You are gay, sir. Bye-bye. I'm out of here.
I swear to God, you're gay.
You are gay, Habibi. I know you suck a dick every once in a while. You suck a big old black dick.
Let me see your ass.
Let me put my tuchus inside your anus. Habibi. Habibi. Well, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Vote Trump and go to the gym. Allahu Akbar. Free Palestine and end the genocides. Bye. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Well, that guy knows what he's doing. You need to be more like him, and you're like,
We were talking about much earlier. The more people suffer, the less happy and comfortable they are in their slavery, the more likely it is that they'll. And the secret is we have to band together based on our race and our ethnicity, our common blood, our common culture.
Oh my God, bro. You don't like Mexican food. We get it. But do you like pizza?
Motherfucker, I can drive a German car without having a German car. Although I'm not a German driver. But I can drive a Japanese fucking car without having no fucking Japs in my country either. I don't need no fucking Ajit, motherfucker. I need a goddamn curry.
Dude, you can't get good shawarma without good Arabs. That's just a fact.
I'll live without the shawarma then.
Precisely.
Well, that's why you will live with no culture and you will die childless eating your thumb.
Okay, shut the fuck up, Edmund. Have you met Edmund before, Francisco?
He sounds Jewish.
I've heard Francisco.
Very, very Jewish.
Oh, and you owe me $150. Don't forget it.
He's a wannabe Jew, bro.
A wannabe Jew?
He's not even a crypto Jew. He's a wannabe Jew.
I'm not a wannabe Jew. I'm a fake Jew. Just like the fake news. That's right. I was reading about Satan and why they called it the Synagogue of Satan. It's because Satan was the public prosecutor, and Diego is an attorney. He's rather satanic.
How was that? How do you figure?
Because you're an attorney. You pretend to be an attorney. You're like the fake attorney of the app.
It's a poorly catechized Roman Catholic.
Catechism.
FYI, this guy's
Catechism? What? Do you have to sound like a Jerry Seinfeld character?
This guy, no, that's a shit.
Frank, KTR, this is a picture of John. Does he look like a Jew? I'm not even kidding. This is actually.
So that is actually it. By the way, FYI, you're currently being live streamed. If he's in a room, you're probably being live streamed in anywhere between 10 and 30 different places.
Hi to the Jews now.
Yeah.
Say hello to my Mossad handlers in Tel Aviv.
This guy literally sits in a room with no windows and about 30 phones all live streaming to different accounts that no one watches. This is how he, consumes it.
This is how I make a living, and this is how the government pays me to do it. Welcome to Kamala's new economy.
Because when he's not on his shtick like this, he is actually quite an interesting character. But, you know.
I just never
lives for the very
entertain
first
myself with demons. I think it's a bad idea.
I know, but like, we also have to like know that.
I am a man, and when you prick me, I bleed.
Listen to this. Pope Innocent III excommunicated King John, and eventually the barons of the British Isles
got together and basically put his head like up to a fucking guillotine and had him sign the Magna Carta.
Yep.
Yeah,
So is it a
I
valid
think I
fucking
read.
document?
I think I read that once. Yeah, King John is pretty interesting in British
All
history.
it is a piece of paper if it's not enforced. That's power does what it can enforce.
Yeah.
So if it's a magic spell over people, then so be it. But
The Magna Carta is very important. It's the magnificent letter.
I think if a true king emerged who would unify the British people and tell it to them straight that they wouldn't assassinate, then
Arthur drew the sword. The boy drew the sword. Arthur! One king, one land. The people are united under Arthur.
they were actually united under Saint Alfred the Great. But instead, the Jews in Hollywood give us tales of Arthur, like you fucking schmuck.
Why didn't they make King Henry who did the Edict of Expulsion? Why didn't they make him a saint?
It wasn't Henry that expelled.
He'd be running a room and he'd get clipped, and he would literally come in on his own.
Within seconds, right?
I'm back, everybody. The 2022 Clubhouse Troll of the Year. Don't kick me, you fascists, and vote Trump, fatties.
Well, he's gonna.
I can't deal with this.
Legal documents in England.
Vote Trump, fatties.
Sure. So as I was reading through the legal documents, I found that they referred. I might have told you this already because this was a pretty big deal to me about a year ago. So they actually didn't refer to them as the Jews during the 30 years of trials that they had. They called them the circumcisers. And the reason that they said this is because they were circumcising the coins, which I thought was extremely clever as a way to refer to them.
Clipping the coins. Yeah, that's what pissed the king off. They were becoming as powerful as the king.
Yeah, but they were circumcising them. They were using lathe. In other words, they were putting them up and spinning them with with some kind of sharp knife on a lathe, which I thought was very, very curious to call them circumcisers.
It's akin to counterfeiting. Yes, and it's a direct threat to any nation.
Inflating the fucking supply because they got them done in crazy increments.
So what's the difference between doing that and like Sam Bankman-Fried?
Nothing really. I mean, except uglier. Did you see that girl? His girlfriend. She looked like a freaking. God's chosen people. Don't you know?
So I just was in a Jew room and I said I was the 2022 Clown House Troll of the Year. Vote Trump, go to the gym, fatties. And then Abby, the casino lawyer, was like, I can't fucking deal with this. Oh, and they went bananas and then they kicked me. I said, don't kick me, fascists. And then they kicked me. But anyways, listen, as a patrilineal Jew, I have the authority to make fun of matrilineal Jews. You guys are just sour grapes, JDS Jew haters who don't get laid, don't make enough money, and you come on here and you bitch like women. Francisco is the chief female officer of the bitch app known as Clown House. Congratulations, bitch.
Thanks, Demon. Like, I give a shit what you think.
Exactly. Why would anyone care what I think? I mean, honestly, Francisco, tell us, what's your approach when you go in a bar and you see a beautiful girl at the bar and she gives you a little look? What do? Tell us what you do, Francisco.
I launch into a diatribe against Satan's kids.
And that generally gets you laid.
It does if I'm at a National Socialist convention.
Oh. Have you been to a Friends of the IDF convention?
I don't associate with demon-possessed faggots. No.
I see. Well, anyways, my work here is complete. I just want to let you all know I'm headed over to the Polish Fest to find a Polish cutie and have a Polish sausage. I'm out of here, you JDS little faggots.
Yeah, he's
By the way, I just want to say that Mein Kampf is like the worst grammatically written book I've ever read in my life. I can't believe that idiot didn't even use commas appropriately.
Hitler didn't write that book.
It was Goebbels?
It's just a fan fiction. But listening to David Irving talks about it.
Well, it's the number 2 book after the Bible, and the government started mass producing it on behalf of Adolf, and he became a billionaire because the government bought so many copies of it. So if that's not socialism,
The government owned the copyright to it, in Germany at least.
right now,
Yeah, because for years you couldn't buy it. You couldn't buy it. It was actually they tried to do it under some bullshit copyright.
it's like I've read some of it, and the exercise stuff, it's like, yeah, that's it's fucking right on the money, but I mean, it's kind of obvious, you gotta exercise. I mean, but I find it interesting how he dedicated so many chapters to physical fitness.
Well, it's supposed to be.
that's how you gain knowledge.
Bro, if only the women today abided by that.
If you're gonna gas 6 million kikes, I mean, you've got to be in shape.
Do you think they really even used
all those elements.
Do you think they really even used Zyklon B, or was it just exhaust from the deuces?
I mean, it was really nothing. I just shared this one with Tim. Frank, did you know there were brothels in Auschwitz?
Wow.
They were called joy divisions.
Bro, there was a dance hall.
That's where
Right.
they fucking
A
banned
fucking gardening, like, fucking center, and a nursery, a fucking swimming pool. You know?
I heard it
It's
was,
like a fucking
it was a
holiday
roller
camp,
coaster,
bro.
dude.
What?
They had a
Yeah, it
band.
was a roller coaster.
I saw a documentary of
It was
this.
amazing, right? Every time the Allies flew over it, every time, just randomly, but yet this thing was in non-stop fucking operation. Every aerial photograph, there's zero smoke over it, but yet eyewitness testimony.
No, the Germans were so efficient. They actually invented a laser to vaporize the Jewish body.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Burning bodies at scale is almost impossible. It's very difficult to do.
I
And
know, that's
and
why the Jewish population increased after World War II. It didn't decrease.
the smell is so atrocious that if you were to actually burn bodies in Auschwitz, they'd have to leave because the smell would be so bad nobody could possibly endure. Not the guards, not the management, nobody. It would have smelled so bad.
The guards could barely endure the smell as it is before burning the bodies.
Well, they had, they stripped the bodies, they shaved the hair, they liced everybody.
Covered in lice and fucking typhus.
Yeah. They had a band, and as they would march out into the fields to go do their daily work, they would have a band. And there's a documentary about this Jewish woman who survived. And she was, because she was very pretty and she was like a great musician, the Nazis like gave her some favor in the camp, and she survived. And I can't remember what made her famous.
As all beautiful women should.
Yeah. I mean, some white trash piece of shit young Nazi who sees a hot young Jewish chick that can play the fiddle, he's gonna get turned on.
That's what happened to Heidegger. I don't know if you know. He had a Jewish student, and he was writing grand like Nazi philosophy, and he fell from her heart.
I have the Time Life World War II history books, and it's like every photograph, every major event. They're awesome books, and I would say that there's probably going to be a point where you won't even be able to find them. So like that period and that study of Hitler and the Nazi Party is. It's really interesting and important, that blood flag and like everything, because so many things with Trump kind of mirror it in many ways, that to understand how fascism takes.
How many books by David Irving have you read?
I've watched many interviews and documentaries with David Irving. He's actually a pretty good guy, I gotta say. But the point is,
There you go.
yeah, he's authentic. You know, like he actually is an academic. So
Yeah,
He's not the foremost authority on National Socialist Germany.
yeah, he really knows it. And because he's an English British speaker,
He's not the foremost authority on that. Like, he's writing after the fact. He's translating into English, like, and he's come up with some off-the-wall ideas as well. He's done good work and he's suffered for his work.
okay, tell us the critiques then. Like, no man's a fucking, like,
yeah.
you know, there's no
See,
secret
this is your
cars.
problem.
Like,
You're actually more T-Robs than T-Robs right
shut the
now.
fuck up. Listen to me.
You're a
Tell me
bigger
what the
complainer than
fucking
T-Robs.
qualities are.
Who is this guy? Like, this is the okay. So
I
anyway,
thought you were going to the fucking gym, dipshit.
No, I'm going to the Polish Fest to go get some food. There's a big giant Polish
he's going
Fest,
to
3 blocks.
over in the academy because he's into that.
Academite?
Over, like, grinder.
What's a catamite?
Look it up. I'm gonna lie. So my critique of David Irving, he said that one of Goebbels' children was fathered by Adolf Hitler.
A prepubescent boy who's the intimate companion of an older male. It's usually in a pederastic relationship.
David Irving back in the 80s was all excited about Ronald Reagan's presidency. Like, this guy, like, if he was truly based and truly, like, understood, was even, like, the good thing about David Irving is he's like, the Germans aren't all evil people. Like, that's his main sin. Yeah. He's like, they're humans too, and he tries to humanize them, and he tells the truth about a lot of things, right? But at the end of the day, he's not there saying Hitler was right. And he should.
Okay, so who is the guy? Ernst Zundel? Like, who's the guy?
Kevin McDonald is good. Whoever says Hitler was right is the guy. And I was going to say, there's one document there's one document that's way more important than Mein Kampf to hold all of what happened in the 1920s and 30s Germany and 40s World War II. One document. So someone tell me what that is if you know so much about World War II.
I don't know. I thought it was the absence of a document. There is no document of it.
No. There's one document that World War II would probably not have happened without it, and it's Gottfried Feder's, German economist Gottfried Feder's 60-page pamphlet, Manifesto on the Abolition of Interest Slavery, published in 1919. That document is what Adolf Hitler read and joined the National Socialist Party. They used that document, the NSDAP in the 20s. They printed millions and millions of copies, and they distributed it all over Germany to the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the union hall, the chief of police. And that was
Yes, you mentioned this document, Feder's theory of.
And if someone claims they understand World War II and they've never read that document, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Okay,
Because
that was again. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
It's the Manifesto on the Abolition of Interest Slavery by Gottfried Feder. It's about 60 pages.
There's also
and well, just
spell Gottfried.
Gottfried. And Feder is Feder. German economist, very simple to understand, and it crystallizes the whole issue of usury and the national currency, what it is. And that document, not only is it very easy to understand, and you once you start reading it, you'll read it in a couple of days. You won't be able to put it down.
Another really,
they put it into practice. It is proven. This is how Germany went from, because remember, there was an engineered economic crash in 1929.
Yeah. That's interesting reading.
And what the Germans did was they set the Jewish plan back a few years. Like, it's obviously continued, but they set it back quite a bit for a generation.
Hearing Adolf use his own words about World War I and the causes for World War II were very interesting in some other speeches. And it was always about the fucking international fucking bankers
It's about foreigners controlling your country. Like, it's about exactly what you read earlier. Like, we
Oh
have
yeah, but
capable
they'll
people.
you'll never let you hear him in his own words. Bro, see those paragraphs? I started reading those in a fucking Jewish room and came. And I'm literally quoting off a fucking Holocaust website.
You know what's another hate the truth? They murdered the truth. They buried the truth. They thought the truth was dead. They danced on his grave, and then he rose from the dead.
There was a book called Storm of Steel by Ernst Junger that talked about trench warfare in World War I. That really fucking turned off a lot of Germans.
Guess who fought in those trenches? Uncle A. Guess who was not fighting in the trenches? Winston Churchill, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Christians were fighting with Christians.
Exactly.
You know what blows my mind, right? Are you aware of Francisco? What's your first real name? Can I say your first name? No? Dogs?
Frank is good. Yeah, no.
Frank. Okay, Frank. There we go. That's all I need to know. Are you aware of the Christmas Day truce?
Yes, absolutely.
That is
That's
fucking
World War I,
mind blowing.
Right?
Huh?
That's World War I.
World War I.
Yeah.
That they fucking set down their weapons in a fucking no man's land. They fucking
And that's how it should be. Like, why should Christians be killing ourselves?
I know.
For
That's
Jewish
fucking. And
purposes?
how many times?
This is what's happening in Ukraine right now.
How many times do you see now after the fact in wars, like particularly World War II, and you'll see veterans that will say, I think they even said it, you know, what's the guy, maybe fucking Diego loves movies. Do you remember Band of Brothers? There's one of the soldiers who, he's kind of the quiet man, but he was a ridiculously good shot, I think, because he was like, they show a scene of when he like hunted with his father or his grandfather or something. And I think it's him after the fact on the last episode where they do interviews with the actual, you know, surviving members of his company. And I think it's him, one of them anyway, that says, you know, in another life, you know, this man would have been my friend. And that's like haunting to me now. You know, like, do you think a Christmas Day truce, could happen with Muslims? Firstly, no, they don't believe in Christmas. But like, do you think that could happen in any day? That they could set down their fucking weapons and have a ceasefire and play a sport together? No. There's no fucking, like, we're fighting our brothers for who? It's insane. It's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
That's how apostate our people are. Yeah. God forgive us and God help us. Like, He will deliver us if we will return to Him. No, but we have to turn back to Him with our whole heart. And the only thing that.
But don't you find it ironic that you think everything is a Jewish conspiracy? But don't you think, well, Jesus Christ, fag is a 3-letter word. Don't you think that, you know, you worship a Jew? Because Christ was definitely a Jew.
Here's the blasphemy. That's how I know this guy's truly a Jew. He blasphemes like it's.
I mean, let's be honest. You believe that he's a zombie, that he literally came back from the dead and then ascended to the right throne of God the Father. And anyways, my point is that if you don't study Kabbalah and you don't accept Andrew Meyer as your prophet and savior, and the tased me guy, you tased me, bro, is not the future priest of some kind of temple. Because I've asked Andrew Meyer, I said, are you going to actually build the temple? He goes, I got my pickaxe ready, motherfucker. I'm going to start digging. I'm like, you really are going to go build a temple over there? He goes, abso-fucking-lutely. And I'm like, what are you going to do there once you build it? Like, sell tickets? He's like, no, bitch, I'm a priest. I'm a Kohen. I'm like, wow.
They won't let him minister the altar because he has a negress for a wife.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
But she's a black Hebrew Israelite. She'll be accepted by the Ashkenazi elite.
No, they won't even accept Ethiopian Jews. They ain't going to accept no black Hebrew.
Seriously, Andrew Myers is married to a black chick.
Yeah.
Also, John, you said I'm overweight, but that guy puts me to shame, man.
Really? You two have the same body type. What are you talking about? Don't try to play all thin now, fatty.
He's a lot heavier than me.
Listen, I gotta go fill myself with a Polish plate.
Fuck, I can't tell how many chins he's got.
But, you know, go to his Twitter. It's actually pretty impressive because he published the game Alex Jones versus the New World Order, and he's not...
Amazing.
Well, listen, have you ever published a successful video game and made millions of dollars from a video game? No. Bro, I know you work in internet marketing.
No one's listening.
He's not a bad internet marketer. He's pretty smart. I got to give it to him.
He is your brother, after all.
He's not my brother. I'm a patrilineal Jew. And according to matrilineal Jews, a mother has to be Jewish to produce a Jewish son. And my mother is a Christian woman. She is a Christian woman, and she's a German, and she will eat you up. You ain't shit till you met my mom. She called me yesterday. She left me a voicemail and said, "I think you're intentionally not picking up the phone. You better pick it up." I was like, whoa, don't fuck around with this woman.
She sounds pretty dumb. I mean, sorry to say, like, you're gonna let a Jewish man, like, impregnate you? And you're telling me she's a good German woman. She didn't teach her son.
Have you not heard of the Lady Mary, Jesus' mother? She was a virgin, visited by 3 magi from the east with gifts of frankincense and lavender and gold and silver. How dare you call my mother a stupid harlot when the Lady Mary gave birth to the Savior of the world? How dare you insult my mother? Gotcha, bitch.
Region, the Muslim Brotherhood was created shortly thereafter all this took place. So, you know, and then of course we had the secret agreements of Sykes-Picot that was brokered. One of the reasons Woodrow Wilson wanted the League of Nations was to eradicate this silent deal making that was going on between the various victory countries and the Middle East that was involved. And, you know, again, we were a little late to the party. The French were still powerful, and the British were still powerful, you know, riding high on the victory of World War I, that they couldn't concede and give up these promises that were made, and here we are today. So anyway, I'll end there.
Thank you, David. So I have a question to the room before I go to Shlomo. I'm going to actually ask Daniel with my Israeli friend, Daniel. What is the conversation about the DNA? Why is this being brought up, and is it important, Daniel?
There is a probably talking point. The DNA test is banned in Israel because we don't want to find that we are not really from the Levant or from Israel. So this is why they banned it. The fact is that none of those people that are saying this ever bothered to check if they will go to MyHeritage or 23andMe and will go to the list of countries that are supported. They will see Israel without an asterisk. What they will not find is many other countries like Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, and I think also some in Europe. And the funny thing is, like, basically it's meant to discredit us, like basically that we are not really indigenous to the land. But the weird thing is, like, they are all saying it, and none of them ever bothered to do like a 1 minute Google check, like go to one of the websites and see like the list of countries that are supported. It's so easy to debunk, but they don't care. But basically, that's the story. The story is that we refuse to have DNA tests in Israel, so we will not be able to find out if we're really European. It's part of the same narrative.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you explaining that. Shlomo, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. First, I'd like to mention Yasher Kol to David. The problem with David, what he's saying, it's a great problem. The problem is that those who have intelligence and want to learn the facts that they don't know will listen and understand them. But there are people, hopefully not any here, that block their minds and they don't want to hear the facts. They just want to hear what has been fed to them and spoon-fed to them that makes them want to point the finger at someone else, another individual, another group of people, because in their hearts, they're not even pleased with their own position, their own life. And those are the people that we have the greatest fear of, the ignorant people who purposely want to remain ignorant without even realizing it. Now, having said that, who are the Palestinians? Well, who were the Aztecs and the Olmecs and these ancient civilizations? They don't exist anymore. They're in the Mayan Peninsula people today. The people of Greece today are called Greeks, but they're not even remotely anything to do with, little, if anything, to do with the ancient Greeks or Romans. Who are the Palestinians? Well, they conveniently, for the narrative that they put in front of the world to the idiots out there, that will claim that they're the Phoenicians, they're the Philistines, they're the Canaanites, whatever they want to claim. David knows the history far better than me. He can at least elucidate it better than me. And the people in this world who want make it simple, and by make it simple, they don't investigate. They don't want to listen to the facts, and they absorb narrative. They absorb the bullshit and cause all this hatred and animosity without even realizing that they are contributing to it. I said enough.
So how is it, and maybe Daniel can speak to this more, either Daniel.
Wait, Jordan, which Daniel?
Well, both Daniels could probably field it, but I was thinking of Daniel Gold. The notion that academia, that we have, faculty members who have not dug deep enough, are so institutionalized, so indoctrinated, brainwashed in their own way. How can we change? How can we mitigate propaganda if the academics are the very ones pushing this narrative on campuses?
The answer is you have to take the campuses back and drive all of these people out. And if it means you pay them out as part of their tenure agreement, you can do that. But I think that in many cases what will be discovered is that they've engaged in academic fraud that is extensive and misinformation, which is extensive upon their own students. It's not just about interpretations. I mean, their argument is that it's about academic freedom and that they're making an interpretation of the facts. But if you're going to make an interpretation of the facts, you have to include all of the facts, which they do not do. The conditions that exist on campuses are universally bad for America. It is a totalitarian ideology. It goes much further than being anti-Semitic, and it is anti-Semitic. It's anti-American. It's anti-capitalism. And I'm just going to say, in many cases, we have not sent our best into academia, and maybe there are many people in academia who we should not define as courageous. They're just angry. They're angry at being, the world not being the ideal version of the world that they think should exist, whatever that is. And so they look for people to blame. And the number one people they blame are successful people, in whatever context they can define, right? It's very telling when you hear them talking about, Asian Americans and saying Asian Americans are a capitalist class, which means they're supporting white supremacy. I mean, these people are insane, and Americans really need to get engaged and involved, at a level which is more than just, the very wealthy donors. And I think that's necessary. On a finishing point on a couple of things that David had mentioned related to the West being responsible for the lack of democracy in the Middle East, that's a crock of shit. the reason that there isn't democracy in the Middle East is because they can't cobble together a democracy themselves. We can point back to some point in history where somebody who had power, created some sort of political outcome. Okay, well, that was 100 years ago, and it's not their responsibility anymore. They don't have that kind of power anymore, and they don't sway the political machinations in those states. It's up to the public. This idea that somehow the Muslim Brotherhood was created as a consequence of whatever Western states did is also a crock of shit, right? There has always been an extremist vein in Islam. They used to have a lot more power, and they have seen the decline of their power. And what they are trying to recreate is, from their point of view, a rejuvenation of Islamist power. Right. That may have been great in the 9th century, when people lived very different lives. The outcome today, of their ideology is the collapse of states wherever they go. It's incompatible with modern life. They were not nation states that were created when the West carved them up. They were, based on tribal power, where the strongest tribe, or clan, really, in most of the countries, the Hashemites. Excuse me, I'm not finished. Were the ones who were recognized as being those in power, and they created their monarchies and whatever, right? And now most of those are gone, right? It used to be Hashemites in Iraq; those Hashemites are gone, right? It used to be Hashemites in Syria; they're gone, right? And now it's the Alawites, right? And the only Hashemites left are the ones in Jordan, to my knowledge. And, they had, about 10 minutes of democracy in Tunisia, and it all fell apart. There are complexities in cultures that are different from our own. And those complexities in that particular culture make it very difficult unless you have a dictatorship, because there are all of these clans, and people are more loyal to the clan than they are any concept of country, which is why the UAE is set up as emirates, and the different clans run different emirates, and that seems to work for them. There is this sort of Western idea that one size fits all, and you can just say, oh, democracy, and, we'll sprinkle this democracy on you, and it will suddenly appear because that's what we believe in. It's just, that democracy did not suddenly happen in China either, and that was sort of a Western conception that said, look, they're going to liberalize. We'll give them a little bit of capitalism, and the democracy will follow. This is sort of a Western ignorance, which I find, very intoxicating to Westerners. This idea that because we believe in freedom and we think everyone should have freedom, it's a noble idea, but it doesn't take into account the fact that there are other factors that affect people's behavior that are domestic to those societies. Right? The history of China, for instance, is one where nothing particularly good has happened, in terms of social development, as an evolution of politics, right? It's been one sort of cascading set of crises, one after another, and there are many wonderful things about the culture and many wonderful things in their history, but it hasn't worked out so well for them politically, and there are conditions there that are complex. We have to stop assuming, that just because democracy has worked great for us, that just because the concept is wonderful, that that there aren't impediments that are conditioned by local politics and
Jay, you there?
David.
So Daniel left. Let me just 2 seconds on. Okay. Anyway, I was talking about this was a bottleneck, crucial moment after World War I ended, where there was an actual attempt made to try to democratize that area. It's well documented. I included the book in the chat there. I'm not talking about since the whole time that the Middle East has been evolving. I'm talking about a strict period of time where this was attempted. And the French, the British, more so the French, ran the Faisal and his democracy team out of town. It's well documented. They had their foot on the neck of the Algerians and the Moroccans and the Vietnamese. So anyway, I put the book in the chat. I got to run for now, but if this room's still open, I'll bounce back and maybe Daniel will come back and here's some arguments. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say something about the name of Palestine. Palestine is a fake name, so it's an Arabic copied name of Israel. Israel means the land that God restored Jacob. And Arabs, after the Arabic conquest of that area, made this name, Palestine. And also we can see during the Ottoman Empire, this part is still Palestine. But the originality of its name is totally a copy. It's a copy of Israel, the land that God restored Jacob. So they cannot say it's an original name. It was Israel always, I can say. And Israelis have every right to get back to their land.
Yeah, and this is the problem, is that branding has been the demise and kind of the creation of such conflict, because when you think about a people, Islamic refugees who have been scapegoated, and then this name created around them to give them some kind of identity in the most modern of times. And then they've been weaponized and they've been used and they've been, as I said, scapegoated. It's very interesting. But as I presented to Daniel, the fact that all these scholars on American campuses, these faculty members who, aren't willing to acknowledge this, it's extremely dangerous. It's perhaps more dangerous than the radicalization of Islamists to begin with, So, anyways, that's life. Welcome, Mark. H.X. been here. Who else? I don't know where Jay went. Lynn, did you have anything, David, that you want to change topic to or address?
Maybe in the future. I have a book that I think is interesting, but it's probably more divisive, and I don't know the author really well. So I'm good with whatever comments people have. Probably keep an eye on the chat. It's so crazy about I'm doing that.
Yeah, I've been watching the chat also, actually, and looking and listening to and watching people type their opinions.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, they're all over the place. And all right, Samia. Oh, hi, Samia. It's been ages. I sent you an invite. Let's try it again. There she is. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Linda. How are you? Hi, everyone.
How have you been?
I've been good, thank you. Hi, everyone. I saw the title and wanted to join. Thank you.
Yes, so, well, I didn't create this title, How to Destroy Iran Created Palestine. There was a different title when we started out. I think Jay did that a couple hours ago. I forgot what the original title was actually. So go ahead, Samay, whatever you got to say.
Oh, yes, yeah. I was just reading the term radical Islam. Wait, create Palestine? Sorry, I didn't know.
Destroyed Iran and created Palestine.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that, about the title, but in any case.
Yeah, I put the title up there and I just put it, it didn't edit it, shit. I was trying to put it in quotes. The notion that Palestine, to call it fake, it would be incorrect, but to call it ahistoric would be correct. And I'm trying to figure out how to put it in quotes.
But you know what?
I mean, where was Palestine? Palestine was just a province of Ottoman Empire. Who was the first president of Palestine? Who was the first president of Palestine?
Well,
I know no one.
The way people might, like in these rooms, might say, well, Yasser Arafat kind of gave it a brand identity, and that's as recent as the late '60s. So maybe that's a way to look at it.
Yeah, maybe, but he was not a president. He was not elected. He was just a proxy. Just a proxy of mullahs, I can say. He had no power himself. Qatar, Iran, Saudi, all these countries were backing him up. And at the same time, what he was doing is just doing nonsense. I mean, I have not seen anything positive from his side for Palestine itself. Israel always wanted two states. As with all the West Bank, Israel always wanted to make it an independent state for Palestinians, but they never accepted what this Yasser Arafat says. After all those money they captured from Qatar, Iran, all these countries, he said, we will fight for generations for this so-called country, Palestine. Well, this will never happen. You cannot fight Israel. You cannot fight America either. You are on the loser side of the history. You should communicate with Israelis. I mean, they have come back to their country, to the real land, the land that has been sacked so many times. Now, they have come back to their land. You cannot talk shit behind them. You should communicate with them. If you want two states, make your own state, have your own state. Otherwise, you'll be, in my opinion, you'll be destroyed, you'll be killed. If you want to fight, if you want to destroy Israel, it will never happen. It will never happen.
Well, I think what confuses many people who don't have interest in this so much is that they don't see the United States, how strong the alliance is between the United States and Israel. They just think, okay, why is there this island nation in the middle of these Arab nations, and Israel is just kind of giving them the U.S. giving them a helping hand? No, the bilateral relationship is so strong. I mean, it's kind of funny because the bilateral relationship with Pakistan was fairly strong, and with the United States, and so think of how strong it is with Israel. It's just you can't really separate the two, and so we may be oceans away
but geopolitically, we're neighbors. So it's just kind of fascinating to me.
Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. There's only one democracy, and that's Israel. So it is really normal that America will back up the only democracy in the Middle East. And to be honest, American Jews are very powerful in America, and they have helped and made America, in my opinion, great, and they deserve it. This brotherhood between America and Israel should always be there, and the only democracies in Middle East should always be there too. So definitely America will not lose Israel against some non-democratic countries in Middle East, and some, I can say, jihadi countries. Imagine if they were not there, there was no America. This all I can say you as an ex-Muslim. All these Arabic countries, even Iran, maybe 20 years ago, had the ambition, had that power in itself to be a radical Islamic country, to become the terrorist state. Don't look at it. Look at them now. I mean, a lot of things has changed. The modernity, the civilization that America has brought to these lands has changed a lot. These countries and the way the people think. I can assure you, if for example we get back 20 years back, I don't know, 1990, I can say, for example, 30 years back, every country, every Arabic country, even Iran in Middle East could be a major terrorist country that has its people backing it up, that has its people approval for the way it acts. Every country was kind of an ISIS, in my opinion. They were all things, because in Quran, in the most holy book in Islam, the jihad is a sacred thing, is a very positive thing. You should conquer the non-Muslim Muslim lands, make them pay jizya, taxation, and if they don't do that, you can kill them. If they don't pay you the taxation for Islamic causes, you can kill them easily. That's for sure. And all the Islamic countries have this kind of thinking. Do you think if today, for example, Saudi Arabia have this opportunity, this technology to fight with other countries, to conquer or make Islam greater, it won't do this. It will definitely do it. It will definitely try to do it. So in my opinion, Israel and America, and of course Israel, because it's a very important part, it's kind of like second America in the region, will help to keep the peace and keep the civilization in the Middle East. It's very important. Without this, in my opinion, radical Islam will get all over the states. I mean, Islam is not something that you can get it over by democracy. Democracy, now the Bangladeshis, look at the Bangladeshis, they have made a revolution in the way they say it. They have made a revolution. They want democracy. Democracy for some Muslim people that want jihad, that want radical Islam in their country, want Islam to rule their country, will not work. They have not reached that level of thinking and think that Islam will, radical Islam and make Islamic Union, all these loser things, will make them stronger, make them greater. They will all lose. They're all in the losing side of the history. They overthrown a dictator, but now they will have a democracy like we had, fake democracy, Islamic democracy. Democracy and Islam do not go together. It's a fake statement. Islam is the rule of Allah. You cannot make democracy. It should be, in fact, it should be governed by caliphs.
But what's fascinating is that there are many families, presumably similar to Osama bin Laden's, and I'm not suggesting Saudis per se, but I'm sure they exist, where you've got one part of the family who wants to challenge the West, and the other who wants to embrace it. And I don't think that Osama bin Laden was necessarily alone in that regard within, among his siblings. And that's what's kind of scary, right? That, there are probably a lot of black sheep. I'm a black sheep in my family. There are probably a lot of them in, Arabic lineages, Arabian lineages that would absolutely love to devastate the West. At the same time, there are some who see capitalism and Western values as something that makes their life better. So I don't know how you challenge that, because those are kind of secrets hiding behind very dangerous closed doors.
Of course, yeah. In my opinion, they will try every second of their life. If they could make a way to get to power, they would do it. They will try every pound of their power, every pound of their being. They will try to destroy American vessels, American practices in the region, because they don't say it. They try to make it hidden, but it is obvious. The Muslim world, the Arab world, hates America, hates the Western world. It is obvious they had different wars on basis of Islam. They make different things. They say America is backing up Israel, and I can say that they are the real enemies of Western world, not just America. And in fact, it's really ridiculous, because Western world is what brought them civilization, and the Islamic civilization they talk about is just Persian civilization. I cannot see even one Arab scientist in their list. So
I mean, the books like written about Osama bin Laden that I've read from even his family members are frightening, because he had access to everything he wanted, and he shunned it. And then through resentment and hate, he built these terrorist organizations. And think of how many people in Arab nations don't have access to the wealth that he did, and are disenfranchised, disillusioned, indoctrinated by radical Islam. And they, what reason do they have not to come after the West? They have every reason, because they've been brainwashed, but they also harbor such resentment. So that's what's scary, that someone with his resources became so disillusioned.
Exactly. In fact, the Arabic countries also have the highest rate of corruption in their countries, in their emirates, their caliphs. They have the highest rate of corruption. Also, they say, no, for example, there is justice and all this, all that. There is no justice in Arabic countries. They are one of the most racist countries against each other. For example, Dubai, they say country, it's not a country, the Emirates, KSA, all the caliphs have a lot of money, and there's no democracy. They take all the money of the oil they sell and give a little bit of money to the people, but it's not that much. And if, for example, the people living in there are a little bit rich, it's because they have no population. I mean, how many are they? Or, for example, in Saudi people are not rich, they should work, but the people who are governing them are kind of billionaires, totally rich, because there's no justice. What is this justice you're talking about? You're always backing up your caliphs, you're always backing up your caliphs who are backing Islam, I don't know. There's no justice in your system. There's more justice in democratic Western civilizations than yours. What are you bragging about? I see no justice in your countries too. Maybe you want to conquer other countries and make them pay you taxation and jizya because you don't want to work. I don't know. But in a modern world, you should work. You fellow Muslims, you should work. You should work your ass hard because you're gonna make money. You cannot sell oil all the way up. You cannot make others pay you taxation, jizya. You cannot make jihad in the modern world. There is America. There is always an eagle up on your head looking at you. No matter how much you hate America, it will always look at you from the upside. And if you do anything wrong, like the Hamas did, you will be beaten very hard. I assure you.
Okay, thank you for that speech. All right. As far as I'm concerned, you're Iranian. All right. I'm not pretty sure we're talking about the Arab world. It doesn't really concern you. All right. So if you wish to talk about your own country. That's it. That's all I know. All right. Enough talking about.
I talk about everyone I want. Okay.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Really
I'm not your slave or everything. You can dictate me what to talk about. I talk about every single thing that I want to talk about.
Have you been to 25 countries to talk about it? That matter doesn't really concern you.
He doesn't need, well, first of all, he doesn't need to visit all 25 countries. There's enough continuity there. That's part of the problem.
Well, actually, Dr. All I can see is just speaking out of knowledge. That's it. There is no complete sense in every single word he says.
Well, I think where we're in alignment is that, you know, Clubhouse has been fascinated with Middle Eastern affairs, but they forget that this is really about the West. And so it's not so much just about Israel. Israel is as much a scapegoat as Palestinians are scapegoats, right? And so Hamas scapegoats both Palestinians and Israelis, quite frankly. And because there are so many Muslims on the planet, billions, and only a million, you know, millions of Jews, the propaganda can spread, and narratives become dominated by Islamist thought because there are so many people receptive to it, to consume it. So, you know, I think this is more of what we're talking about. Maybe Patriot talked about some specifics you don't agree with, but I think what we're talking about is this is how, you know, the West is perceived. And again, that's why I go back to Osama bin Laden, because Osama bin Laden had access to all the resources in the world. His family studied here. They had the greatest of privileges.
Yes, I agree. He's an American made. Yeah, I agree with you. He's an American made. Yeah.
Right, and so what I was saying before you just came back is that if he harbored so much resentment for the West, and he was kind of the black sheep in his family, what about all those disenchanted or disenfranchised and disillusioned Islamic Muslims who don't have those resources? They have even more reason to harbor resentment, and the biggest target is going to be Israel and, you know, any U.S. travelers abroad. I mean, that's my opinion.
Okay, Z, you raised your hand that you wanted to speak. Go ahead, please.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone. I hear someone, I don't know what his name. He was talking about Saudi Arabia and the way how they live. I'm Saudi Arabian and I'm now in the United States, and we don't have any issue with the Western, especially America. United States consider our what do you call it in English? Alignment.
Ally.
We have alignment. Ally, yes. Yes, and I don't know, the guy who was talking, does he has his own agenda or where did he get his information from? You know, we don't have a good relationship as a, you know, the two governments. I'm not talking about the people. I have a good friends from Iran. You know, like any politics, sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes good, sometimes, you know, if you have two countries are friends today, probably they're gonna be they're gonna have issue later on, and they can be consider each other enemy. That's the politics. But to be honest, he talk about it in a aggressive way about Saudi Arabia and about the human and how we and the government we have a relationship. We get married from each other. The government and the society. Yes, we have things. We're not perfect. We don't live in Aflaton or Ethiopia society or country, but overall we have the peace. We have the respect to our government. I consider myself a Saudi Arabia citizen, and I'm so happy. And I live in the West right now because I'm continuing my PhD. I don't think what he say. I see it in my country. Maybe that's his opinion. Maybe he read.
Who are you speaking of? Just so we know.
I think the guy who was talking about Saudi Arabia and how he showed us as an evil. I think, I'm not sure, is it Patriot?
Well, let me ask you a question.
I think one from Bangladesh or Iran.
Yes, atheist. No, he's Iranian. He's called Patriot atheist, yeah.
Yes, what's your question?
Yeah, so Onzi, what is your take? So having read some books about Osama bin Laden, including biographical works from his family members, how would you describe, and Jimmy, maybe you can add to this too, how would you describe the value, the resentment, if you will, or you use your language of how Osama bin Laden really felt and propagated his anti-Western values, given that he had access to so many resources? Because that's the premise that I go by, is that if he had access, he denounced and moved away from the things that many of his siblings embraced. How many Muslim people do you think in Arabic nations feel similar to him? I don't mean that they would act on something, but how do they feel about the West?
This is many questions in one question. Okay, let's start with Osama bin Laden. I don't know much about him because I was young. Maybe I didn't burn yet. But one of the things I'm sure about, that he's not Saudi. That's one thing I'm sure. After he did what he did, and by the way, when he has been sent to Afghanistan, I think that there was, I think the United States and Saudi Arabia, they were against the communism at that time, the Russian, and that's why they sent him. And later on, he get how can I say, radicalist? Is it the right word? Irhabi. What's mean?
Yeah, when he was the Mujahideen. Yeah. So go ahead, radicalized. Yeah.
Excuse me, Anzi. Osama was born in Saudi Arabia in 1957.
That's true. And by the way, their roots is from Yemen. It's not from Saudi Arabia. But let's say they are Saudi since they have the citizen. But after he did what he did, right away, before 9/11, before all these things, he didn't become Saudi Arabia. From the moment he started his, how can I say this, his way, aggressive way or harmful way to the others, they took the citizenship, Saudi Arabia took the citizenship from him. His family is well known. They're good citizenship. They live for us and we live with them. We respect them, they respect us, but they don't agree about his brother, let's say brother or their uncle, because I think they have, my generation consider their uncle. And anyway, like any place in the country, in America here we have the KKK. Maybe they're relative, some people, but they don't agree about the things they were doing. And as I told you, but the Patriot, he mentioned Saudi Arabia as an evil, as our leaders are aggressive with us and they took the money rich. No, we have a healthy society. Yes, we have a problem, but as you know, like everywhere, there's the middle class, there is the lower class, there is the upper class. It's normal, okay? And the middle class are more than the lower and high class, which is, I think it's healthy. If you go to the index for the United Nations and any reliable index, you see how the development, okay, especially with the women empowerment. And I believe, you know, I don't have to explain or why we are like this or why we are not, but the way how he talk about it, he didn't say anything, and I understand. Okay, maybe this is his way, maybe this is his reading, but I suggest for him, okay, to visit Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure he can change his mind.
Yeah, you know, I liken, and I don't think RFK is. I don't liken RFK, for example, to Osama bin Laden, but there's a similarity in that there is this, you know, this family that has been absolutely lauded, and yet there's one member in the family who is kind of the black sheep. That might relate, because I don't want everyone to think Osama bin Laden's relatives were anywhere near the way that he presented or, you know, harbored his values. So.
And by the way, how can I say Irhab? Let me translate it because I don't use this word. Do you know, just a minute, Irhab mean... Okay, tourism. By the way, Saudi Arabia been under tourism many times from Bin Laden and his followers, and I don't think any country face like we face from the tourism and from the way the radicalist people thinking, and you can search that by the last like 14 years ago, and everybody in Islam mean peace, and I don't think anybody like to be and you know live in war or live in with radicalist people. We suppose as Islam who kill one person like killing all the people. If you ask in one of the saying we have from Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, I don't know how to say it, Messenger Muhammad, he say if you have to choose between Al-Kaaba, which is Mecca, or killing one or saving life or killing person, no, you choose the saving life. If you have to choose between two things, human is very important. It's all, and even you know, in Islam we don't have the saying what he mentioned before that they raise their children or their society, okay, to kill the others to live. No, I don't think this is right. And if this is right, United States will not be aligned with us, you know, in our politics, and that's it.
Just out of curiosity, do you mind sharing what you're studying? I'm curious about your PhD.
Yes, right now I'm studying business, PhD, in United States. I just came and I just started.
Oh, you haven't lived here very long?
Actually, my father studied in Harvard, and I born here in Massachusetts, Cambridge.
Oh, then you went back to Saudi.
Yeah, when I were a baby, and I stayed in Saudi Arabia until I decided to continue my study. I get married and I came here, then I go back and I work. So half of my life here in the United States and other half there. And
nice.
Yeah, I'm so lucky, you know, to have this, what do you call it, identity.
Now, did you meet your husband? Did you meet your husband in the United States, or?
No, I met him not in the United States, in Spain, and he's kind of our. We have he's He's not my family, but we know, like family friends.
I see. Got it.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm sorry for my English. It's not.
Oh no, you're great.
Your English?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think your English is terrific. And good luck with your PhD. I also wanted to say that I think since the Abrahamic Accords and before, because I know there was a lot of backdoor diplomacy between Saudi Arabia and Israel, but I think now that the two countries are working together is mutually beneficial. So I think that Saudi Arabia realized that, and that's why overtures were made and accepted on both sides. I've heard some Saudis, I've watched some YouTubes of individual Saudis, and they pretty much are speaking along the same lines that you are, Anzi, and they say, and they're people have been educated in Saudi Arabia, and their English level is almost fluent, that they support relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. They like Israel, they've been to Israel, they visited Israel, and so on and so on. So I see the tide changing from when Osama bin Laden was, making a lot of trouble. So I think that everything you said is absolutely correct.
Yes, Linda, I was talking about the social level about Saudi Arabia,
right?
Country, but about politics, to be honest, still Quds, Jerusalem, it's very important for Muslims and for Christian and for Jewish. Okay, and about the normalization. Okay, visiting and going, I don't think it's happened yet. Saudi Arabia support the Palestine.
It is happening. It is happening.
From my information, from what you call it, from our news, okay, from our government, they call it. Just a minute.
So I think right now there's a bit of a break since October 7th. So I think that you're right about that. As far as Saudi Arabia now with women's rights and so on, that has been happening. I've been following it.
To be honest, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he's keep trying, okay, traveling and trying. We have a lot of wars in the Middle East. We have Gaza, we have Sudan, we have many issues in the Middle East is cooking right now. But from my understanding, okay, when you have a war with one country, it should be assigned through the United Nations, through form. I don't know if this is the right word. Let's say it through.
You mean a declaration?
Yeah, a decision from the United Nations. Okay, yes, we don't have a war with Israel, and also a resolution. And we're trying Saudi Arabia. He's trying the Department Secretary of International Affairs, trying to have the best, okay, for both Israel and Palestine, but still Palestine, it's big, since the last 70 years ago or more, the Quds, Jerusalem, is very, very important for Muslims. And as you know, we Muslims and Jewish and Christian, they used to live together in peace. I don't know if that my opinion gonna make you happy or not, but everybody, this is my point of view. I don't know if you like it or not, but I believe in that. Still, we don't have normalization as a government. We don't have the traveling between each other. Two countries like Emirat, maybe they start to. Maybe Bahrain, I think, or Bahrain and another
and
country.
Dubai.
Yes, Dubai, United Emirat, and Dubai. Yes, I don't know if it's the whole United Emirat or just Dubai. I'm not sure, but
Dubai is part of United Arab Emirates.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't like to talk about politics because, as you know, politics is like a chain. When you, if you miss only one circle, which is we don't have the data, enough data to decide as a citizens. Okay, I'm not working in the government, and I don't have any enough information, to talk about. That's why I don't like to talk about politics, to be honest. But I just, as a Saudi normal person, an American normal person, I participate in this speech. And thank you so much for giving me this chance.
Thanks, Hamza. And I have one question. What do you think about Hamas? Do you think Hamas is a terrorist organization or not?
To be honest, I didn't agree with the way how they what they did, because now I think they lose most Gaza. I think they only have 3% from what they used to have, and about the families.
But that wasn't his question, though. That wasn't his question.
Yeah, I told him I don't support the way how they attack, because, as you know, they lose more than they gain. Okay.
The question was, no, Anzi, the question was, do you view Hamas as a terrorist group?
As I told you, I don't have the data to judge. Okay, but I don't agree with the way how they act.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you again.
I told you.
What data? Hold on.
I'm not with him. I'm not with Hamas, to be honest.
Anzi, when you say you don't have the data to judge, what data are you missing, or what data do you need?
Okay, as I told you,
to prove that someone is a terrorist or is not a terrorist, what data is required for you to make that decision?
To be honest, it's my country. If my country, they know better than me. I mean, the leaders, they know better than me if they are tourists or not. If Saudi Arabia say Hamas is tourist, they are tourists. If they consider them not. But
you're a standalone person, and you were asked as a standalone individual. So what's your standalone without your country telling you what to think? Is Hamas a terrorist group? It's just like a yes or no.
My point of view, okay, I don't have the data to decide. I have only one thing. I don't agree with the way how they act. Many children and families in Gaza, okay, they lost their life, their lovers, and I think that even though the land, they have only 3% now they can control. I think Jaffa, only this small place. What's happened? It's unhuman. Okay,
Anzi,
your tone is very hard. Your tone.
It's just. Excuse me, one second. Anzi, I just think
your tone. Your tone is very high. Can you lower it a little bit, please?
Sure. I just think that you're a bit, dancing around the question.
It's your opinion. I respect it. Jimmy, you told me something. What did you say?
It's just resistance, all right? So, no, it's not a terrorism. Just Muqawma.
But she was the one that was asked the question.
Exactly, yeah. But I was just interpreting here something.
It's resistance. Is that what you meant? No, I want to ask her if that's what you meant.
Their point of view, they are resistant, but I don't think they. If that's my opinion. I don't think that this is a way of resistance. You have to be. They don't have qualified. Not qualified. What do you call it? Same power. Okay. They don't have the same power as Israel, so sure they're gonna lose more than. But when you think about it, if the people doing this, okay, for their own self, that's their decision. To be honest.
What did she say? As what? They don't have the same power as what?
As Israel. Even though they are doing this, I'm not sure, okay, if you understand or not. This kind of thing.
I understand what Israel is.
If I'm in the power in Palestine, maybe I change my decision. But for me, as a personal point of view, when I see the pictures, when I see the children and the family, and when I see the bombs and how Gaza being destroyed, I don't think this will be the way. You know the karma.
A single person didn't have to die if they did attack on October 7th.
Like one of our good friends on Clubhouse was murdered on October 7th here. The other one, Shlomi, was in captivity for nearly 10 months. And they were on Clubhouse and us every single day. And Jacob shot to death on October 7th. The friend didn't make it. So it's like, if they didn't attack on October 7th, like, it's really hard to feel sorry for the Palestinian people after they did all this